Précédemment,
La Bullshat. Such works as Man Licks Mandarin, Man Stares at Wall for an hour and a half.
This year's show is called Zero Light, needlessly complex movement piece, and it's done completely in the dark. The audience can't see a thing, all they can hear is the squeaking of shoes. Existential secularism perception, the squeaking of the shoes. Art backwards is tra, means nothing.
Hello there, I am Bullshat, and I am both insulted and flattered to be asked to answer questions from you people here at FAHnFEST. I will do my best to be long-winded, imprecise, and generally off-topic. I hope that you find my answers satisfactory, and if you don't, remember this: art backwards is tra. Something to take home there. Means nothing. Let's look at a question, shall we? This first one comes in from Jeffy, and Jeffy has asked,
what art, if any, from other artists do you appreciate or find inspiring?
what other artists I find compelling, find enlivening, and find invigorating. Well, she hasn't used it in such excellent words as I have, but I had to rephrase it. In answer to your question, Jeffy, many of the artists that I find invigorating, enlightening, and the other word that I used are in fact not born yet. For example, Solomine Montgomery, she is an incredible artist. She paints using fibres from old dressing gowns and the tails of juniper buried cats, a rare form of cat from the Isle of Man, and of course extinct at this point. And she uses them in conjunction with clouds on canvas, and I find that incredible. She's not born. She'll be born in the year 2035, so fingers crossed I'll still be alive then to witness that. Thank you, Jeffy. Do I consider myself an artist or performer? Neither. Ridiculous question. I'm an enigma.
La Bullshat. You won't understand. Is it art? I make avant-garde theatre, the niche of the niche.
Okay, thank you for your questions. I say questions because you have managed to wedge 3 questions into what was supposed to be one, and then made them hard to read by quickly adjusting the magnification of the video. Nevertheless, I will attempt to answer your questions, rude as they may be. Who is my biggest influence? Myself. Easy. I'm influenced by myself all the time. I say Le Bullshat, and then Le Bullshat, who is also me, says yes. And then I say nothing, because in many times I just want my own attention. Being a true attention seeker is that. You want attention from yourself. Crave it. Your second question was, what is my biggest... I've opened it again. What is my biggest inspiration as an artist? It would be easy to say myself, again, and it would be true. My biggest influence has to be the day-to-day, the common man and woman. Sometimes I get on a bus, not actually, but metaphorically, I get on a bus and I listen to the common people and how they talk. Again, not actually on the bus, but and I get something from that. I say, yes, they're normal, they're dull, they're boring, they're living out their lives like Metropolis, that wonderful picture. And yet, here we are, all sharing the same space, albeit with the windows open, pre-COVID, post-COVID, windows open. Again, metaphorically, but yes, that's where I'd get my influence, the common man, if and when I do meet them. And you had another question, I believe. This is really taking the proverbial. Your final question was magnification. Who is my fashion icon, please? It would be easy to say somebody like Madonna, but I would actually say my fashion icon would have to be Boutros Ghali. Not so much for what he wore, but his name, Boutros Ghali. The decision to add an extra Boutros, was it needed? No. Was it essential? Yes.
You're far too mainstream.
Hi, Bullshat. At what age did you realize you wanted to be an artist, and what was your first piece of work?
Literally.
Thank you, Jenny, for your question. My first piece of art is still available to be viewed today. It's in my humble home in an area of Ireland that is not France, but I believe in many ways it is a chateau, a semi-detached chateau in the centre of a busy, fabulous suburb in Ireland. And there on the wall, still preserved to this day, is my first work of art, which says, age 4, mind you, age 4, it says, Mama shit on the wall. And I constructed it myself with the mediums I had to hand, shit. And my mama came in and she viewed this fresco, because in many ways it was a fresco, the thickness, and she said, "What is this, La Bullshat?" Or as she used to call me, Terence. And I said, "Mama, it is shit. Mama, shit." And she said, "Am I shit?" And I said, "No, Mama, look closer, there's a comma." And there was, Mama, shit. Mama, look at the shit. And she did, and she burst into tears on the ground, and then I needed my nappy changed.
La Bullshat, how do we know when a piece of art is finished? Can art ever truly be finished? And how do you cope with deadlines?
Thank you for your enlightening question, Helene. Is art ever finished? Yes, is the simple answer, and the complicated answer is possibly yes, more than likely yes, and yes, obviously yes. It can be finished, and indeed other people's art may not be finished, and I will finish it. For example, there is a unfinished work of Whistler in a local gallery of mine, and although a lot of people were shouting, someone was pointing a finger, and the police were called, I managed to finish that piece of artwork. And I think that if you ask me whether or not Strawberry Milkshake was around at the time when he was painting, I think is irrelevant. It's what he would have wanted. No, I can't go back there, but in many ways, is that art gallery finished for me? I think so. They're finished with me, but for me. Prepositions. Amazing, isn't it? Incredible. How do I cope with deadlines? I set the deadline. The deadline changes as I see fit. The only deadline I adhere to is my own deadlines, and I don't adhere to them. So I don't get an awful lot of paid work, to be honest.
I got diagnosed with hard of hearing when I was almost 6 years old. I tried hearing aids, and afterwards we walked out of the door, and I said to my mom, "Your pants rustle." And that got me thinking, how would you put the realization of something that's for other people is quite normal in an artwork or a stage production?
Doris, thank you for your beautiful question and your fascinating tale that accompanied it. Yes, sometimes the banalities of life are in many ways the most beautiful, and what a poignant moment, the rustling of the trousers. Yes, I have done this, of course, in my play Zero Light. The squeaking of the shoes was a prominent audio production of mine. It did very well and sold out all one of the nights that it was there. Unfortunately, the capacity had to be reduced. This was before Corona, but social distancing was in place nonetheless, and one person could only be admitted to the theatre. Having said that, a sellout is a sellout. In answer to your question, what you do is you take the moment from someone, you distill it down, you put it on stage, and when they say, "Hey, did you put my personal story on stage?" you say, "No, I didn't."
Hello there. Very often, this world does not understand creative people. I'm not insinuating anything, God save me from that, but if incidentally you will be sent to the non-people prison, who would you like to have as your cellmates? Stay safe.
Another wonderful question here in may I compliment you on your outstanding outfit, Lillian. Very avant-garde, of course. Yes, in the Annoying People prison, I would like to share a cell with Jean-Paul Lefac, Monsieur Je Bonbon, oui, Mademoiselle, s'il vous plaît, Labon, Blanco Blanc, who is one of the most foremost artists working with fire extinguishers in the world today. He is banned from most buildings over 3 stories and has had several arrests and blood in his hands in many ways. But he is a fantastic storyteller. I mean, it would be the stories he has to tell. But yes, he would be my chosen one. And then there wouldn't be no need for anybody else. That's enough personality in one cell, don't you think?
La Bullshat. You won't understand. Is it art?
Hi, Bullshat. My question is, what is your post-workout routine? This is mine.
24 hours later. 1 eternity later.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sophie, for your beautiful video with the music. Really got the juices flowing. Yes, my post-workout routine is a shake. Standard shake, really. Protein, acacia berries, avocado, raspberries, juniper berries, bread, flour, milk, 2 eggs, maybe 3, and then the blood of a theatre critic who has given me less than 4 stars.
Hey, Labusha! Sam is a massive fan of yours, and she also has a question for you. What's the difference between a keyboard and a leaf from the westernmost point of the Amazon rainforest? Alright, did your question. Can I have my ball now?
Sam, many thanks for your question. To be honest, you won't get me. I know they're the same.
Monsieur Le Bullshat, how do you find the perfect hat?
This next question comes in from Katrina. Le Bullshat, how do you find the perfect hat? It's a great question. I forage, and the idea presents itself to me. I had a very invigorating, somewhat heated discussion with a family of sparrows last night in the back garden of a mutual friend, and I won out in the end, and the sparrows are currently residing in the eaves of the mutual friend's house. But that is just one example. The hats I've used, as you can see, you have perhaps collected one of them. I don't know where you got it. I'm missing it, and if you could give it back. But as a side note, I do think that the energy flows from within through the head and is captured in the hat. And indeed here I have the door open, which suggests, as Aldous Huxley once put, the doors to perception are always open.
Hello? Hello. Here are some notes. This is that notebook of mine, and I hope I'm doing this right. Put the camera up and everything. So, here we are. My name is Patrick Dennis McCormick, and I've come here with my notebook because I have a very important question to the great artist, La Bullshat.
Paddy, what are you doing?
Mary,
Paddy?
I'm recording a question for La Bullshat, you know, the artist.
Oh,
you
if
know.
you're recording a question for La Bullshat, would you mind asking him too? I want to know, how is it that people get ready for the day, you know, like take their curlers out and get into clothes other than a dressing gown? That would be a question to know, Patrick Dennis
Mary.
McCormick.
I had prepared the questions here in my notebook. So, what I would
Well,
like...
Dad, you really doing this thing for that artist? Let him know. I'm an artist too, you know. I'm just not feeling that creative right now. It's also important to, you know, relax a little. Want to share a beer, Dad? Ben Thomas Jason, I am not in the mood for a beer right now. I am supposed to ask this artist a serious question. Daddy, can I ask La Bullshat a question too?
Anne! What are you doing here? I'm recording a video message to a great artist.
I just want to know why fizzy drinks are the best thing in the world.
Anne, leave this room
Dad,
this instant.
You're holding your notebook up to the camera.
Darren, let me finish this question. I just want to ask, how can I become an artist to get out of this hellhole of a family?
Thank you very much for your question, Jay. Through the medium of course, the McCormicks. There's several questions asked there, but I think one I'd like to address is why are fizzy drinks the best? Which fizzy drinks are the best? Why are they the best drinks? Well, I feel like the can is an encapsulation. The bubbles, a economy, fizzling to the surface, the sweetness, the taste you get, the feeling of goodness in the moment, but the aftertaste of aspartame lingering there, reminding you that it was no drinky, no fizzy drinky, no. The fizzy drink conglomerates are taking over the world. It's time we let the fizz out, don't you think?
Bonjour la Bullshat, c'est moi la foutaise. Alors, j'apprends que tu t'abaisses à t'adresser à la populace. J'ai toujours su que nous ne jouions pas dans la même cour. Essayons d'élever le débat. Slancha. Tu te souviens? Le Festival d'Avignon 2004? Notre première rencontre. Notre seule rencontre en fait. J'ai assisté à ton spectacle. J'ai été impressionnée par ton talent naissant. Et tu as assisté au mien. Tu as été ébahi, obviously. Et puis, nous avons passé la nuit à refaire le monde de l'art. Nous avons bu beaucoup d'absinthe cette nuit-là, dans mes loups broutins. Beaucoup trop d'absinthe. Et puis, au matin, tu avais disparu. Mes loups broutins aussi avaient disparu. Where are my shoes? La Bullshat? Rends-moi mes loups broutins. Give them back to me. You hear me? Rends-moi mes loups broutins. You little piece of gobshite.
La foutaise. Not exactly how I recall the evening going. As I remember, you had far too much Mandarin schnapps and passed out on the shalong in my hotel suite at the Ibis. You then stole 2 towels, 4 mini shampoos, and a hairbrush. So the shoes, if you don't mind, I feel are a fair trade for the damage and the amount charged to my credit card by the staff at the Hotel Ibis. So au revoir, les futaies. Perhaps I'll see you at an avant-garde festival soon, and I may wear the shoes. Just to piss you off, really. Thank you for your wonderful question on interior design, Sophia. What I do isn't for everyone. In my particular mid-terrace chateau, we have a problem with dogs in the area, feral dogs. Packs of them roam the streets at night. And what I've done is I lay out a path with some dog food at the end, and the path had a certain section which was covered in paint. Different colours, blends, styles, all non-toxic. And the dogs would run through it for the food. I would then lay more food at the path towards my door and upstairs into the various rooms. You can guess where this is going. And the rooms are then covered in a flurry of different colours, all with those beautiful footprints of the dog. Obviously there was a huge feces problem, and some of the dogs didn't take the paint. Some of them drank the paint, and many of the dogs return nightly to my house barking for hours for more food. It's not for everyone, but I think the interior of my house has never looked better. It doesn't smell. It's a wonderful pastiche, and again, not for everyone. Not for everyone, no.
Le Bullshat, I have a scenario for you. You crash land on a desert island and only one item of your luggage can be recovered. What would this item be, and how would you use it to survive?
Thank you very much for your beautiful violin playing, Stacey. Yes, if I were alone on a desert island, the one item I would of course love to have hung on to, maybe all the other pieces of luggage. If I could get lots of them, I could make some sort of stage and I could perform there to the flora and fauna of the island, and perhaps they would accept me as one of their own and not eat my toes as I sleep. Yes, something like that.
Hi, Le Bullshat. I just got back from a lot of traveling on a road trip, and I was wondering, have you ever toured and performed abroad, and what was your favorite moment?
Thank you, Anna, for your very enlightening question. Yes, indeed, I have toured abroad. I've been all over the planet, and one of my favorite stops is, of course, the Tierra del Fuego in South America. I remember doing a promenade piece which started in Bolivia. The promenade piece started with an audience of 100, and by the end there were just 3 of us who had made it alive. It was a very immersive piece. There were times when we had to express ourselves through shouts and screams when we were surrounded in the jungle by cartel drug lords, and then through the medium of feet and hands when we were chased by police for urinating in public. Enjoyable, yes, very enjoyable. I had to leave obviously very quickly after that. Yeah, actually when I look back on it now, it had a sour end. Yeah, no, No, I was the only one who made it out alive. No, not enjoyable at all. No, I wouldn't recommend it. Might just do it in a black box theatre the next time. Eniko. Another dance challenge. They seem to come in thick and fast. I'll tell you what I've told all the people who've challenged me to a dance-off is make sure you're wearing the right shoes, because I choose the surface. The last dance challenge I had was in the Arctic, and we danced on ice without skates. We were pursued by polar bears, who I'd felt sorry for up to this point, you know, but then I kind of hated them. So that's all I'll say is if you wish for a dance challenge, make sure you're wearing the right clothing, because I choose the weather. Well, I don't choose I choose the day based on the weather. Based on the weather forecast, which isn't always what I want it to be. I've made complaints. However, I choose the location. I choose the time, which is subject to change.
Hey, as you might imagine, my question is around movement. How do you stay fit for art? Do you balance weight on your head? Or do you go for a swim around the block with your hand flippers? Or do you simply stare at the wall for a few minutes? Let us know.
The next question from Iona, I'm sorry. I'm not sure that's the... Ilona. Beautiful name nonetheless. How do I stay fit for all those months when I'm off the stage? Every morning I wake up, I go for a run, a swim, a cycle, all from my bed. My mind is my exercise palace. Art.
Bullshat, please consider me as your next choreographer. Choreographer? Dance person.
I think not many people know this, but art backwards is tra. Tra means nothing.
This is the question bearer without a face. We have collected questions for La Bullshat. Well, hello there. We've got a question for La Bullshat. It was my friend Clara who had this question, and we discussed it the other day. But we thought La Bullshat would be the one who might be most interested to answer it. So this question by my friend Clara was, should I quit my job and pursue art full time. Full time! Can you believe it? I wonder what La Bullshat will say. Clara would like to know, should I quit my job and pursue art full time? Before I pour myself a glass tonight, I have some questions. They're from my friend Laurel's. And I'd really like to ask these questions that one artist we all know, La Bullshat. So, La Bullshat, if you were a street fighter, what would be your theme song? And why? What is the most courageous thing you've done in your life? Is cereal soup? La Bullshat, please share the story of your heroic 45-minute struggle with amnesia. Toilet paper. Over or under? What are the 3 biggest influences on your artistic life? La Bullshat, please share the story of your heroic 45-minute struggle with amnesia. What is the first thing you do after you close a performance? Thank you to everyone who sent in questions. Thank you to La Bullshat. This was the question bearer without a face.
We all know that art has endless possibilities, but what about boundaries? Whether they be in relation to social issues or values and ethics, it seems that artists in most, if not all, artistic fields have an opinion about when and where certain boundaries should be drawn, especially in our current social climate where we are becoming more aware of the effects and the influence that our words and actions can have. But I'd love to know your opinion on this matter.
What a wonderful question. As you're probably aware, La Bullshat had a show called Boundaries, Boundaries, Where Are They? May I? With 3 question marks. It was a wonderful performance about boundaries performed on the land boundary between India and Pakistan in the disputed region of Kashmir. There I discussed societal, political, social taboos. I used a rock and I smashed it with a hammer, and on the rock was written, guess what? Taboo. Yes. It was beautiful, and then I finished with a 4-hour discussion on these issues done through the medium of pogo, which I find the undulations in the areas in Kashmir provide ample opportunities for the so-called roller coaster ride of taboos using the pogo. Thank you.
Thank you all for your questions, videos, enlightening, challenges, curious, and remarks. Beautiful, tender, caring. I take them, I bring them, I let them go, free. I hope that I provided you with some sort of clarity. If I did, I'm sorry. I didn't intend to. I trade off vagueness. However, to those of you who wish to continue to create art, remember this. You can be like me some... no, you can't. No, you can't. You can't. There is only one La Bullshat. The Enigma. Signing off. Au revoir, le FAHnFEST. FAHnFEST.